How's it going, guys? Randall, aka Shizukats here on the Tressa's Collectibles channel, and today I'm going to be showing you guys our Gate Choice deck for Fate Grand Order Camelot. The Camelot set centers around the Camelot trait, as the name would imply, contrasting with the first set of FGO, which centers around the Babylonia trait. As a result, the deck we'll be showcasing today does not require any cards from the first set, making it a great choice for newer or more budget-minded players who don't want to have to hunt down some of the older cards that might be pricey or hard to find. Now then, let's hop right into the deck. For our climaxes, we are running 4 Gate and 4 Choice climaxes. Let's first take a look at the Gate combos. At level 1, we use the 1-0 Bedivere. He sits at a modest 4,000 base power, going up to 5,000 if you have 2 or more other Chaldea or Camelot characters. His Climax combo is a carbon copy of the Shizu level 1 combo from Tensura set 1. On attack, mill 2, add up the levels of the milled cards, then salvage a character whose level is equal or lower than that sum. Additionally, Bedivere also gets an extra 2k power for the turn when using this ability, bringing him up to a formidable 8k offense. This combo gives you free mill to speed through the deck, as well as decent selectivity through the salvage. The fact that the combo requires no interaction with your opponent makes it very easy to use as well. However, the Gate Climax doesn't only combo with the level 1 Bedivere. There's actually another Bedivere that we run one copy of, which is this level 3. While in the front row, he gives 1500 power to all of our Chaldea and Camelot characters, including himself. At the end of his attack, we can use his Climax combo ability, paying 4 and discarding 2 cards to burn 3 twice, and then he sends himself to memory. This is an extremely potent way to go for a finishing blow, but it's impractical to try to go for more than one because of its high cost, so we run just a single copy. Next, let's move on to our other climax of the deck, the Choice climax that goes with the level 3 Lion King. When talking about the Lion King, we first have to go over the package that allows her to come into play at level 2. So let's start with the level 2 Lion King Assist. She gives 2000 power to level 3 or higher characters in front of her, and has 2 act abilities. First off, she can rest herself plus 1 other character to salvage the level 1 ritual event, which we'll come back to later. Her second act ability mirrors the Flare and Ruchia package from Hololive. While you are at level 2 or higher, by resting herself and the level 0 Agravane Brainstorm, you can summon the level 3 Lion King from your hand. While the Ruchia package does this to try to stockpile advantage and play for a defensive mid to late game, the Lion King takes the opposite route, putting a powerful offensive level 3 on the board to try to push our opponent into a corner. The level 3 Lion King herself is the main asset of this deck. She sits at 11,000 power, going up by an additional 1k if you have 2 or more other Chaldea or Camelot characters, and has an on-attack burn ability. When she attacks, reveal the top card of your deck, and if that card is a Chaldea or Camelot character, or the level 1 ritual event, you burn your opponent for damage equal to the level of the revealed card. This is an ability that we've seen prominently in Love Live Sunshine decks on the level 3 Mirai Ticket Yo, and similarly to Yo, we're aiming to bring this out at level 2 and put on a ton of aggression to try to get a lead in damage. This deck is all about developing these level 3 Lion Kings, looking at the top card of our deck to confirm high level cards, and pushing for lots of damage with burns. And of course, we can't forget Lion King's last effect, the Climax combo itself. Normally, the Climax combo is the highlight of the level 3 card, but the fact that Lion King's main effect is not a Climax combo at all means that we're not super reliant on finding her Climax in the late game. That being said, the combo allows us to heal 1 when we play the Choice Climax, allowing us to keep ourselves healthy and in a position to keep living and keep pumping out Lion King burns. Alright, let's get into the level 0 line. First up, we have the Sanzo level 0. She has 2000 power, and on play reveals the top card of your deck, and if it's a Chaldea or Camelot character, you can put it underneath her as a marker that gives her an extra 2000 power. During the early game, she's the character we would like to see the most, as her 4000 body can survive relatively easily and allow us to maintain card advantage. In the mid and late game, her top check ability synergizes extremely well with Lion King, since we can use it to scout for big burns. If the top card is a high level character, we can leave it on top and go for a burn, since the marker effect is optional. Otherwise, we can put it underneath her as a marker and get it out of the way. Next up are 2 copies of the Event Bonder, Gawain and Lion King. They can discard a card on play to grab the ritual event from the waiting room. The ritual event itself requires a Lion King on stage to play, which is easily accomplished with the Bonder itself, as well as some of the other Lion Kings we included in this list. When played, you choose one of your Knights of the Round Table characters that doesn't already have a marker, and put this card underneath them as a marker face up, as well as give them plus 1000 power for the turn. This represents the gift granted by the Lion King. Then, you look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 Chaldea or Camelot character from among them, add it to hand, and send the rest to waiting room. This is a great way to get through the deck quickly as well as flexibly, and complements the level 1 Bedivere combo extremely well, since he's forced to mill exactly 2 cards per combo activation, while the event can go through any number of cards from 1 to 4. This event bonder is one of the best targets for the Bedivere combo when you already have all of your high-level mid-game cards secured, as the utility granted by the ritual event is quite strong. Next up, we have 2 copies of the Hassan of Serenity level 0. Her on-play effect lets you weaken one of your opponent's front row characters by 1000 for the rest of the turn. For the most part, this functions like a 1000 power pump for one of our own characters, but with the added bonus that you can sometimes snipe low power characters off the board by reducing their power to 0. Against certain cards, this can be extremely devastating. Her second ability is On Reverse Rize, letting us filter a card to increase the overall quality of our hand, while simultaneously giving us another source of flexible mill, similar to the ritual event. The Agravain Brainstorm is a card that we took a short look at when we went over the 2-1 Lion King assist, but let's take a closer look at him now. He's a Rest Self Salvage Brainstorm, and also lets us look at the top card of our deck when he or one of our other Knight of the Round Table characters is placed on stage from hand. This is extremely useful for our level 3 Lion King to verify top checks for the burns, but is just an overall solid ability that gives us knowledge of incoming triggers or whether or not to brainstorm. His final ability is that when he receives a marker, he sends the marker to the waiting room instead. This is a flavor ability, as Agravain rejects the gift of the Lion King, although it can be used practically as well, allowing you to put the ritual event back into the waiting room to grab and use again with the event bonder. As this is a very powerful card in isolation, but is also used for our level 2 plan to bring out the Lion King early, we run 4 copies. Our other back row is the level 0 Lion King Global Support. She gives 500 power to all of our other characters, and when placed on stage from hand, we have the option of looking at the top card of our deck, and if we do, we put it underneath her face down as a marker. The marker can then be sent to the waiting room to give one of our other characters 1000 power for the turn. This marker ability is another way to manipulate the top card for Lion King burns. When we play her, we can first use Agravain Brainstorm's ability to peek at the top card, and if we don't like what we see, we can put it underneath the Lion King Global as a marker to dig one card further. While the Power Pump ability will usually consume the marker that she gives herself, she can also actually use the Ritual event as a marker as well. This allows you to pump characters that would normally not be able to receive the Power Pump from the event due to not being a Knight of the Round Table, such as the Bedivere Climax combo, which is a Wandering Knight. Up next in the level 0 line is one of my favorite cards in this entire set, the level 0 Sanzo Drop Searcher. Her search effect is nothing special on its own, being a typical pay 1 discard 1 search. However, it can be combined to great effect with her other ability. On play, by shuffling 2 characters from your waiting room back into your deck, she doesn't lose soul when side attacking this turn. If there's a card that you would like to grab from your deck, but can't because all of the copies are in your waiting room, no problem, just shuffle them back in and then search them out with the drop search effect. It's a great card that gives you access to both deck and waiting room. Additionally, the Shuffle Back 2 ability has great synergy with Lion King, letting you shuffle back high-level characters to try to hit some big burns. There's also a really cool combo you can do when you have 1 card left in deck. Play the Sanzo, shuffle 2 level 3s back into your deck, and then use her drop search effect to grab whichever card wasn't shuffled back. This guarantees that the last 2 cards of your deck are 2 level 3s, so you can go for double burn 3s with 2 copies of Lion King. The final level 0 I run in this list is a one of Hassan of Serenity. On play, discard a card, reveal the top card of the deck, and salvage equal or lower than its level. This is a great costless discard outlet that also lets us potentially salvage important cards and scout the top card of the deck for Lion King. She also has an on-death pay-2 salvage effect, which can come in handy in a pinch, as this is one of the only ways in the deck to get guaranteed advantage. While this card is a pretty decent option, I only chose to run 1 copy in favor of other strong level 0s. Moving on to the level 1 game. Alongside our 4 copies of Bedivere, we have 2 copies of the 1-0 Hassan of the Cursed Arm. On play, he reveals the top card of the deck, and if it's a Chaldea or Camelot character, he can put it underneath himself as a marker that turns him into a level 1 bomb. Similarly to the Sanzo level 0, this marker ability scales well into the late game by allowing us to scout for Lion King burns. Additionally, either of these two cards can use their marker abilities to simply dig closer to hitting a climax when we use a brainstorm. Hassan's final ability is what makes him a very strong pick right now. When he front attacks, you can pay 1 to reduce an opponent's character by 1 level. This allows us to shrink opposing level 2s into level 1s and then use his bomb ability to get rid of them. A very useful ability into standby matchups with big 2/2s, such as the popular Mushoku Tensei with its 2/2 Galen. Our next level 1 is a 1 of utility slot, Hassan of Serenity. She can rest herself to choose one of our characters and give it the ability to send any character it reverses to the top of the opponent's deck. This functions similarly to stock kick or clock kick abilities that we've seen in other sets, such as Mushoku Tensei, clearing important characters off of the board to deny encore or on-death abilities. However, it also comes with the added bonus of contributing to our damage output, since the card sent to the top of the deck will be the next card to be revealed off the top for damage. This can also be combined with the Hassan bomb that we just looked at in order to clear 2/2s that have encore abilities. Hassan's other effect is that while she's rested, all characters in both players' front rows that are not named Fujimaru, Arash, or Hassan continuously lose 500 power. A majority of the time, this will do basically nothing, since your opponent's power reduction is balanced out by your characters also losing power. However, if your opponent is not careful, their 500 power character might accidentally blow itself up by dropping to 0 power, even on the opponent's turn, as this is a continuous effect that is active as long as this Hassan is rested. Finally, for the level 1s, we have a 1 of Mordred anti-change stock bomb. In addition to her stock bomb ability, she has a second ability that activates when you play a climax. By discarding the Event Bonder Gawain and Lion King, you can pop one of your opponent's front row level 2 or lower characters, and then at the end of the turn, the Mordred sends herself to Waiting Room. That last part is not really much of a demerit, as Mordred will often be crashing herself in anyways in order to use her bomb effect. If your opponent's taking control of the board with multiple big lanes, this ability can sometimes come in clutch to regain some control on the board. However, a majority of the time this card will just be used for its stock bomb to remove early play threats. At level 2, we have our 2 copies of Lion King assists and 2 counters. The first is a 3500 Gawain counter. When it comes to Lion King, she's our most important asset in the mid-game and we want to protect her as well as we can. This means choosing the counter with the highest backup value available, which in this case is 3500. I also run 1 copy of the anti-change counter Romani from set 2, although this could also be a Da Vinci anti-change from set 1 as well, depending on which cost you prefer. I put the Romani in this deck in order to keep it all within the Camelot set, but either one will get the job done. At level 3, alongside our 4 copies of Lion King and 1 Bedivere combo, I included 4 early play healers, 3 Mordreds and 1 Nidocris. The Mordred can be early played if the opponent has a level 3 or higher character on stage, a pretty easy requirement to meet in the current format full of early play level 3s and standbys. During your turn, she gains an extra 4k power if you have either of the Lion King assists in your back row, putting her at least 13k. The Nidocris is a 1 of, able to be early played when you have 4 or more characters on stage, and gains 500 power per back row, bringing her up to 10,000 power. Additionally, she heals from the bottom of clock instead of the top, which is normally intended to be used in green-centric decks with Ozymandias cards, in order to maintain alarms on top of the clock. The reason I chose to run 1 copy of this Nidocris is in case you fall behind and get sent to level 2 first. Your opponent will likely not have any level 3s on stage while they're still at level 1, which means we're unable to play the Mordred. Thus, the Nidocris gives us a healing option that isn't reliant on the opponent's board or damage state. Alright, next let's go over the Mulligan and game plan. Sanzo level 0 is our main player at level 0 game, and we also want to keep copies of the Bedivere combo and Gate Climax for use at level 1. All of our other level 0s can come in handy in their own ways. The Lion King support makes all of our Sanzos 4500, making her exceptionally difficult to clear. Agravain Brainstorm is just nice to have, and the rest of the 0 line all have valuable utility. At level 1, we're typically aiming to get our first refresh before hitting level 2. This can be accomplished by quickly milling through our deck with a combination of Bedivere combos, brainstorming, and playing the 1-0 ritual event. We want to be on the lookout for the 2-1 Lion King assist and at least 1 copy of the level 3 Lion King in order to prep ourselves for the level 2 game. At level 2, we want to try to safely establish our level 3 Lion King using the 2-1 assist effect, if possible. She is our most valuable asset in this deck, and we don't want to play her just to have her get instantly removed the next turn. Keep an eye on what your opponent is prepping. Do they have anti-change bombs or anti-change counters? Or are they able to beat over Lion King's 13k power? Additionally, you want to take into consideration whether or not you have a counter in your hand to defend her on the defense. Take all of these factors into consideration when you think out your level 2 game plan. If you cannot safely establish Lion King, it might be a better option to just play for compression instead, maybe play an early play healer or two, and then look to play your Lion Kings at level 3 instead. If you are able to safely get the Lion King out at level 2, start playing aggressively with her on-attack burns, using cards like the Aggravating Brainstorm or your various top checks to verify the top card. Additionally, you can use Lion King's Climax combo to stay healthy if you happen to draw a Choice Climax. The game plan doesn't really change much at level 3, just keep using Lion King burns to continue the aggression, and occasionally you will get the chance to use Bedivere level 3's effect to burn 3 twice to really hammer in a finish. When leveling up in this deck, you need to be a bit flexible and make heads-up decisions. Ideally, we would prefer not to put cards with high levels into our level zone, since we want those to stay in our deck to utilize with the Lion King. We ideally want both red and yellow at level 1 in order to utilize both the Bedivere and the Ritual event, but priority goes to red first in order to use the Climax combo. At level 2, we will usually want to level yellow to secure usage of our Lion King support, but green can also come in handy for the Nidochris early play. At level 3, just try to level whichever color you don't already have. As far as this deck's strengths, it's fairly uninteractive, with cards like the Bedivere combo and all of your burn effects not requiring any reverses. Additionally, a lot of the plays are easy for a new player to perform, while still feeling very rewarding. It's not hard to play cards like Sanzo and Hassan, use their top checks to look for high level cards and then swing for a burn 3, but it feels really good and never gets old. However, there is a bit of complexity in terms of how you order playing your cards and using Agravain's top check ability, which can require a bit of practice to optimize. In terms of weaknesses, this deck is fairly reliant on its Lion King level 3 in the mid game, as well as favoring a pilot with good knowledge of what the opponent might have for counter mechanics. If you play carelessly, the Lion Kings that you put on stage can be very quickly answered with no easy way to recover. That's all we have for this deck profile, and we hope you all enjoyed it. Coming up next on the channel, we'll have several gameplay videos featuring this deck, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for those. This has been Randall, aka Shizukats, on the Tressa's Collectibles channel, and until next time, see ya!